Native Americans intentionally burned forests for thousands of years. What settlers called wilderness was actually carefully managed landscape shaped by controlled fires that prevented catastrophic wildfires, promoted biodiversity, and created the healthy ecosystems colonizers found when they arrived. And now California is finally using indigenous fire practices after a century of fire suppression policies that made wildfires exponentially worse. Ready to find out how native fire knowledge could have prevented modern megafires if anyone had listened? For over 10,000 years, indigenous peoples across North America used controlled burns, intentionally setting low-intensity fires during specific seasons to clear underbrush, reduce fuel loads, promote new growth, and maintain ecosystems that supported the plants and animals they depended on. The forests and grasslands European colonizers described as pristine wilderness were actually the product of millennia of indigenous land management, the park-like forests with minimal undergrowth, the vast grasslands, the diverse ecosystems were all shaped by strategic burning practices passed down through generations. Indigenous burning followed strict protocols. Burns were done in spring or fall when conditions were right. Fires were kept low and slow to avoid damaging large trees. Specific areas were burned in rotation, creating a patchwork of different growth stages, and knowledge of wind, weather, and terrain guided every burn. The benefits were massive. Controlled burns eliminated the buildup of dry brush and dead wood that fuels catastrophic fires, created habitat diversity that supported more species, promoted growth of important food plants, reduced tree disease and pest infestations, and maintained open forests where people could travel and hunt easily. When European settlers arrived, they saw native people burning and didn't understand it. They thought it was primitive destruction of valuable timber. And by the late 1800s, the U.S. government began aggressive fire suppression policies that banned all burning, including indigenous practices. The Smokey Bear campaign, starting in the 1940s, taught Americans that all fire was bad and must be prevented. This seemed logical, but ignored thousands of years of indigenous knowledge about fire as a natural and necessary part of healthy ecosystems. Without regular burning, forests accumulated massive amounts of fuel, dead wood, dense undergrowth, overgrown vegetation piled up for decades, and when fires inevitably started from lightning or human causes, they burned hotter, faster, and more destructively than anything in recorded history. California's modern megafires that burn millions of acres, destroy thousands of homes, and kill dozens of people are the direct result of a century of fire suppression. The forests have so much accumulated fuel that fires become unstoppable infernos that sterilize soil and destroy entire ecosystems. Indigenous peoples warned about this for decades. Tribal elders and fire practitioners told forestry officials that suppressing all fire would lead to catastrophic burns, but their knowledge was dismissed as primitive superstition until the disasters proved them right. In the 1990s and 2000s, fire ecologists finally started studying indigenous burning practices and realized that native peoples had sophisticated fire science. They understood fire behavior, ecosystem responses, seasonal timing, and long-term land management at a level that took Western science centuries to recognize. California now employs indigenous fire practitioners and tribal burning crews to conduct controlled burns. Using traditional knowledge, the state is literally hiring native people to teach them the fire management that was banned for over 100 years. The Karuk, Yurok, Miwok, and other California tribes are leading cultural burns that restore traditional burning practices, train new generations in fire knowledge, and slowly repair ecosystems damaged by a century of fire suppression. Indigenous burning isn't just about preventing big fires. It's about maintaining relationships with the land. Certain basket-weaving materials only grow well after fire. Traditional foods depend on fire-maintained habitats, and fire is understood as a tool of renewal and reciprocity, not just destruction. The difference between indigenous burns and wildfires is intention and knowledge. Controlled burns are low intensity, carefully planned, and designed to help the land, while wildfires fueled by decades of suppression burn so hot they kill everything, including the soil itself. Modern prescribed burns try to replicate indigenous practices, but they're hampered by bureaucracy, liability concerns, and lack of the deep ecological knowledge that comes from thousands of years of observation and practice. Tribes do it better because they never lost the knowledge. The fact that California is finally listening to indigenous fire practitioners after catastrophic fires killed hundreds and burned millions of acres shows how costly it is to ignore traditional ecological knowledge. If settlers had respected native land management from the start, modern megafires might never have happened. If you think indigenous fire knowledge should be taught in environmental science classes and tribes should lead wildfire prevention efforts using traditional practices that worked for 10,000 years, share this and follow for more traditional ecological knowledge that modern science is finally validating.